What up? Happy Tuesday to you. Hope it's your favorite day of the week. I love Tuesdays because there are way less lines. Okay, so let's get ready to talk about what's going on today. Uh, see, so today's topic is the event return on investment problem. What SaaS leaders, what software as a service leaders should really measure. So, what metrics actually matter to revenue leaders? Hopefully, it should matter to you too because that's where the money at. Okay, so most SaaS teams are tracking the wrong event metrics. Registration, attendance, engagement are easy to report, but they don't hold up in a boardroom conversations. Executives don't ask how many attended. They ask what revenue did this influence. So in this episode, we're breaking down event return on investment problems and what SaaS leaders should actually measure when evaluating virtual events. So we'll get into how do you measure event return on investment in SaaS, what pipeline influence versus revenue source, what is event arbitration, or why is event arbitration so difficult? Attribution, sorry. Yeah. Why is event attribution so difficult? What metrics do executives actually care about? Why do events accelerate sales cycles, or how do events accelerate sales cycles? So let's get into it. Let me take this down. Oh, if you didn't know, this is Talk Virtual, and I'm your host, Erica Bates. So let me take this down. Let's get into our slides. Let's see. I forgot to push the share button, but oh well. Okay. Here we go. Here we go now. Hey, here we go. Here we go now. 10 points if you can name that song. Okay, I am sharing. Woohoo! Woohoo! Okay, one more again. Talk Virtual. I'm your host, Erica Bates, and we're talking about event return on investment problems. What software as a service leader should really measure event-led growth from marketing activities to revenue engine. That is the theme of this month of June. Okay. So, did this drive revenue? Did this drive revenue? The question every executive asks, not registration, attendance, engagement source, survey response. They ask, or I should say executives care about, pipeline revenue growth. But I gotta let you know up front. If you don't have the registration registration, attendance, event engagement, survey response, it's because you were talking to the wrong people. And if you went through a whole event and you didn't have any of that, you were talking to the wrong people. You didn't reach out to your audience. And yes, that part makes a big difference. So executives may not be looking for this because they're looking for the end result, but that end result comes because you got the first part right. Just throwing that out there. I had to let you know that part. Okay. The measurement disconnect. Most SaaS teams measure events like marketers. They ask, how many people showed up? So focus on registration, attendance rates, chat activity, poll responses, session engagement. Executives evaluate them like investors. They ask, what changed because they showed up? Revenue growth. So activity doesn't necessarily equal business impact. So it's useful. Is it significant? I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to tell you that, because if you got people to register, yeah, people are interested. If people attended, yes, you definitely know that they were interested. That means you found your target audience, and if they're engaging with you, you had you had addressed their pain point. And during this event, you are addressing their pain point. So chat activity, if they're engaging with you that much, most likely they're telling you further parts about their problem, or yes, you have solved their problem. And if you set up your poll questions rightly, you have people raising their hands and says, yes, this is me. So again, session engagement. So if that stuff should lead to revenue growth, but you can't say should, because what's that saying? People can shoot all over themselves. Yeah, but you need that part to get to the last part. And if it's not leading to revenue growth, maybe you were actually too good at your job. Maybe just a little too good. Okay, so your event solution, the one that helps your target audience solve their pain points, there was most likely a really good chance that you help people solve their problem, and then there was no further need for your services. Yeah, it happens. Okay. So I have someone on here with me, and if you give me just a little bit more time to go through this live stream, I will bring you on, but I appreciate you being here with me live. Thank you so much. Okay. So the evaluation of event measurements. Primary question, how many attended? Registration, attendance, engagement. Now it's primary question, what business outcomes occurred? Pipeline, revenue, retention, expansion, growth. Stop measuring attendance, start measuring outcomes. Again, like I said, if you don't have the attendance, yeah, that outcome's going to be looking pretty bleak. Like I said, that attendance comes from knowing who your target audience is, knowing where your target audience hangs out, knowing the pain points or the problems that your target audience has, and you having the solution to help them solve that. Okay. Why attribution gets messy. Today's buyer's journey is nonlinear. A prospect may read blog content, attend a webinar, join a community, watch a replay, listen to a podcast, and speak with us with sales, and then buy. Yeah, it happens. I have actually seen it happen a lot with blog posts after made from the event content. So, and it also happens in emails because, follow up matters. Okay, so virtual events and purchasing. The question, how much credit belongs to the event? I got to tell you, all of my content, my toolkits, my repurposing, distribution, it all comes from my events. So answer, it's complicated. But events are the critical acceleration nodes in the network. Again, all of my content comes from my events. Okay, pipeline influence versus revenue source. Revenue source, the definition, events directly create the opportunity. Prospects attends events. Book demos, opportunities created. Pipeline influence, the definition, opportunities already exist and events help move it forward. Decision making accelerated. So evaluating vendors, event, and close. Hopefully you will never close your event because you will repurpose that content into toolkits, you will repurpose it into blog posts, you will repurpose it into email newsletters, stuff like that, because everybody doesn't see you the same time you go live. Even if you put something out there, stuff comes up. People got other stuff to do that's more important, like their family. Yeah, things happen. Okay, opportunities, acceleration. Events don't always create details. Sometimes they accelerate them. Standard sales cycles, event sales cycles, the momentum. An object in motion will stay in motion. The momentum audit. Did the opportunity advance stages? It's a good question. Did sales cycles shorten? Also another good question. And these things are great to measure. Something to keep a spreadsheet about. Did stakeholders' engagement increase? Did deal velocity improve? All good things to measure, because if you got stuff on, you got sponsors, and you set them up with a sponsor booth, and they're gonna ask, did their stakeholder engagement increase? And you're gonna say, this many people visit your booth, but it just said don't count attendance. But yeah, but I'm still gonna say, how many attendees visited? Out of that number of attendees, how many of them converted? Because yeah, I'm still gonna want to know that math. If you say 1,000, I am gonna hope for at least 10. And hey, James Hicks, appreciate you being here. I have finally seen you on YouTube. So just letting you know, the video is real choppy. Yeah, like I said, it's that 720p, but I've tried using other platforms. Well, I didn't put much effort in it. I only went to a meeting, but sorry, James. But I appreciate you, and I appreciate you being here. Okay, customer expansion and retention. Return on investment isn't only acquisition. Growth includes existing customers. Expansion, upsells, cross sales, product adoption, acquisition, post sales, expansions. James says, good to see you though. Yeah, good to see you too, sir. Appreciate it. True business impact, long-term value, and recurring revenue. Gotta love that recurrent revenue. Retention, customer education, community engagement, and relationship building. It all works together. So acquisition is not going to come without your post-sale expansion. So you see this figure 8, it all works together. So one more time, that follow-up, that repurposing of your content, that distribution of your content, yes, all works together. Okay, a better event return on investment framework. Executives want to know if pipeline increased, deals moved faster, customer expanded, and revenue was impacted. Everything else is just supporting evidence for the base. So tier 1, activity metrics, registration, attendance, engagement. Like I said, it builds on it. And it's a good indicator that you know who your target audience is and where they hang out. Okay, tier 2, influence metrics, pipeline influence, opportunity progression, sales velocity. Yeah, I am going to attribute this to engagement, because if they're not engaged with you, if you're not showing them that your solution helps them solve that problem, dang, it's like you missed out. Okay, tier 3, business metrics, revenue expansion, retention, and growth. And this is all the executive values. So revenue is what we want, expansion is what we want, retention and growth is what we want, but we got to do those first two things to get to the top. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Yeah. The boardroom test before presenting an event report asks, would this survive a board meeting? So 1,000 registrations. If your report only shows attention or attendance, probably not. So 1,000 registrations and one closed, one deal, be like, dang, that should have been 10. I feel like if you got 1,000 registrations, if that 1,000 registration actually showed up and you only got one closed deal, I'll still be like, dang. That I feel like that math ain't mathing. So if your report shows pipeline and revenue impact, you're now having a business conversation. I don't want to have that conversation where 1,000 people registered. So if 1,000 people registered, maybe 100 people showed up and you only got one closed deal. That still should have been a 10. So that one closed deal, it's saying to me that your solution to the problem was only shown to that one person, or that only that one person got it. So, yeah, it's kind of hurtful. Okay, attendance doesn't equal return on investment. Yeah. Engagement doesn't equal return on investment. Event-led growth connects events to business outcomes. So 1,000 registrants, 100 people attend, and one closed deal. So your solution to their problem. Either two things happen. You solve their problem on the live, or you didn't say what happens next, or you didn't ask them to do something other than show up to that event, or only one other person needed help after that event when you said the next steps. So when you're hosting an event, let them know that, yes, you have a solution to the problem. And thanks for coming to this. I've answered a few of your questions. If you need help with doing other things, because there's more after the event, tell them that you have a fee, or you have a cohort, you have a group program. It's got to be something after that event. Tell them about your services because there's got to be something after that event. So that one deal should have been 10. Okay. That's my math trying to math. The future of virtual events isn't about attendance. It's about impact. Hopefully impacting your target audience, because you know where they are. You know the social media platforms they hang out on. You know their pain points, and you have a solution to help them. And you have a way to move them forward. Okay. So if you are a software as a service founder, a vice president of marketing, a revenue opportunity leader, or a community leader wanting to apply event-led growth to your business, schedule an event-led growth strategy review with me, Erica Bates. So I'm your host, Erica Bates, and this has been Talk Virtual, and I am going to see you guys next Tuesday. And we are going to be talking about, let me put this up here. We are going to be talking about lowering your customer acquisition costs growth. So you're not going to watch that now. You're going to watch that on 16th. So I am going to see you guys later. And I am going to bring on the people here that's in the room with me, because that's what we do. So I'm going to stop the stream, and I'm going to talk to the people that's in the room with me, the people who got a seat at the table. So thank you for your time and interest, and bye for now.